Finland is similar in many ways to Russia, for its cuisine being in the infant stages of development due to the very limited availability of products up until the 1990s. Lihapullat is a Finnish word for meatballs, and while these days that usually means ground beef with seasonings from all over the world, the traditional original version, as I'm making here, is made with fresh reindeer. You can make it with other deer, or moose, or other meats, of course, but it won't be traditional without reindeer. Yeah, every nation has spices that it's associated with, but Finland is probably one of the least spiced nations of all, and there's some reasons for that. This is the only spices that we're going to put in here is about half a teaspoon of white peppercorns, a few whole allspice berries, and maybe a quarter of a teaspoon, something like that, and just a few juniper berries. It's maybe half a dozen, something like that, and whiz these up. And I've got a bowl here that I've already weighed out 30 grams or an ounce of breadcrumbs into. I'm going to add the spice mixture to that. I'm also going to add about 22 grams, about 3/4 of an ounce of finely minced shallots to this, and an egg yolk, about a teaspoon of salt, and an ounce of cream. Now I'm going to give this a mix first to make this homogeneous before we start adding the meat to this. And stir this around just for a minute just to get it. Okay, what I have here is fresh, never frozen, not even frozen, reindeer from Finland. Now, I bought this in Russia, and crazy Russians make no distinction in reindeer meat as to it's the same price no matter whether you're buying a leg or anything else. So I picked out the tenderloin from the group. Why not? It's the same price as everything else. As insane as that is. So I'm cutting some scraps. I'm going to cut a couple of steaks for serving another way later out of the main part of the tenderloin, and I'm going to cut up scraps. But really, because this is going to go through a grinder, it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference what portions of the so I've got some trim here, got about 180 grams. Now I'm going to cut this just up into enough pieces in order to let it go through the meat grinder. And I've got some butter that was cut up into cubes, and it was frozen. This was in the freezer, because otherwise it'll just turn into mush as it goes through the food grinder. So to catch it, I've got the bowl that had the breadcrumbs and the shallots and all that in it, and I'm going to start feeding the venison through along with cubes of this butter. If you've never tried grinding your own meat before, this is something you absolutely should try sometime. You'll get some amazing results you can never get from a butcher. Of course, you can have a butcher grind meat to your specifications, but there's a certain satisfaction in doing it yourself. You can see exactly what goes into it. We're almost done here. Okay, we've got the meat and the frozen butter that went through the grinder, along with the breadcrumbs, the shallots, the spices, everything here. All going to get mixed together. And you don't want to overdo it, but you definitely want to get it to the point where you've got one homogeneous mass. And you can see what it looks like in it doesn't take long. This is all we need. You can refrigerate this for a little while if you want to, but this also can be used right away. Okay, that's fine. That's the stage we want. Now at this stage, we could just roll these into meatballs and fry them. We have some really, really delicious and traditional Finnish food. This would be served with mashed potatoes, gravy, and some lingonberry jam. There you go. You've got traditional Finnish dinner. I'm going to do something different. So I've got another bowl here. I've got the potatoes that have been boiled till they're soft, and I'm going to mash these. So for each 180 grams of potatoes which I mashed, I'm going to put a little spoon of sour cream in there and 1 egg yolk. And mash this together to make it smooth consistency. A little bit of salt wouldn't hurt either. A little dash of salt. This becomes our second layer. Now what we have is silicone mold like you would use for making muffins or maybe even cupcakes. It's a little bit larger than a cupcake mold. You could use other sizes, of course. And you're going to put some of the mashed potatoes with the egg and sour cream and all in the bottom. Try to make it somewhat even. It doesn't have to be a work of art because it's going to, as it cooks, it'll squish down anyway. And then some of the reindeer meat over the top of it. And exactly how much you use, of course, is arbitrary. If you're in a restaurant, I would be weighing this because you'd want every portion to be exactly the same. But at home, you didn't have to be that crazy about it. Okay. That's good. It's packed in. Now we have to attend to the carrots. You take a carrot that's been peeled, slice it like this, slice it down the middle, then run it through a mandolin. This one has some presets on it. I've set it to 1.3 millimeters. Basically, you want it to be like this. It's like, I don't know, what, 1/16 of an inch thick. And watch your fingers. And you're going to do a few of these, and then you're going to cut them the other way so that they fit the mold. You'll see. What I did is I measured one of the spaces in the mold, and I cut one carrot that's the right length for it, and now I'm just going to go in and cut more that are the same exact length. So height, I should say, because they're going to be standing up. And of course the ends are just scrap, and you want to accumulate a bunch of these, a whole lot of these, in order to be able to fill. Okay. Now we've got this ready. We're going to take a butter knife, just go around the edge as if we were loosening it for it already having been cooked, and just to make a space there, and we're going to start shoving carrot slices down inside of this little crack. And I think you can see, you just repeat this process. You go around the entire thing, and then you move on to the next one. Yeah, it's a little bit tedious, but you know, if you're in a restaurant and you're paying 50 euros for this, you can justify paying a cook for 3 or 4 minutes of their time to arrange this neatly. So you get the idea, just repeat it. Also look for my cocktail book, Cocktails of the South Pacific and Beyond, Advanced Mixology, available through Amazon online.